Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi everybody, welcome to Bayou Time Sports. Week 2 of the high school football season is in the books. Let's take a look and see how all of our Bayou region teams did this past Thursday and Friday night. On Thursday night, we had Assumption taking on H.L. Bourgeois here in Houma. The Braves come up with a thrilling 29-26 win, and I say thrilling because it came down to the last play of the game where Assumption had the ball at the H.L. Bourgeois 1-yard line, and they got it down to the 1-inch line, but didn't get it in. H.L. Bourgeois comes out with the big win. At Buddy Marcella was Vanderbilt Catholic. No problems against John Ehret. They win that one easily, 30-7. They actually got out to a 24-0 lead in this one and just sort of coasted the rest of the way in the second half. And a little bit of a surprise, Morgan City, who had won their opener handily against Berwick, was going out to take out Slaughter Academy, which is in the North Shore area, and Slaughter was pretty good. I don't have to come up with an adjective to explain that one. They pretty much did in Morgan City. 62-0 was the final in that one. Then on Friday night, it was Terrebonne at home for the first time this year, taking on Eleanor Memorial. They get out to a 42-0 lead in the first half, and the running clock starts. Because remember, folks, in high school football, a 42-point lead means that the clock runs no matter if the ball goes out of bounds, no matter if it's incomplete, no matter if it's a penalty. It is a running clock, and that's what they did. And for most of the second half, Eleanor Memorial does score 3. Terrebonne gets a big win, 42-3. South Terrebonne in a thriller. They defeat CCA. Remember last year, South Terrebonne, after Hurricane Francine, had to play against CCA on a Sunday afternoon at Nicholls State, and CCA did them in pretty good. South Terrebonne this year is the beneficiary of a blocked field goal with no time left on the clock to win that one. They win it again, 22-21. Another thriller, E.D. White taking on Jesuit at Tad Gormley. E.D. White has the ball with down by 3 late in the game driving, but unfortunately they can't complete a 4th down pass deep in Jesuit territory. Jesuit takes over on downs and they run out the clock. They win it 24-21. Thibodeau High, 2 wins in a row under Coach Lowell Narcisse. They win it 41-13 over L.B. Landry. Central Lafourche picks up win number 1 on the year. They defeat New Iberia easily, 40-14 in Matthews. South Lafourche, a little redemption over Pearl River from last year. The Tarpons get a 26-22 win over Pearl River. Douglas really puts it to Houma Christian. I thought Houma Christian might have a chance in that one, but Douglas is what I'm told, very athletic, and they win it easily. St. James, no problems with West St. John, 52-6 they win that one. That sets up a big game with Terrebonne High this Friday night. And finally, Central Catholic of Morgan City played extremely well against Catholic of New Iberia. Remember, Catholic of New Iberia, your reigning state champ. They go down, that being Central Catholic, to Catholic of New Iberia, 20-13 in the battle of, well, the Catholics in that game. Let's take a look at our local districts and how they all fare out after 2 weeks. Terrebonne, Hornville, and Thibodaux are your 3 undefeated teams in District 8 5A locally. Destrehan came back and got a big win this week after losing the Catholic of Baton Rouge in Week 1. H.L. Bourgeois and Central Lafourche get on the board with a win after this past weekend, and East St. John still hasn't won. They've been playing good competition, but they still have not got a win under their belt. Let's move on to District 8 4A. Vanderbilt is your only undefeated team. They'll be traveling to Sulphur this week. South Terrebonne, with that win over CCA, gets on the board with a win. Morgan City, of course, lost, as we mentioned. South Lafourche, with the win over Pearl River, gets on the board. And who would have thought we'd be seeing Lutcher and E.D. White, and I'll even throw in Assumption in there at 0-6 at this time of the year. That's just not like those teams, but they are playing really good competition. Lutcher has lost to Slidell and to St. Charles Catholic, E.D. White to Jesuit and to Holy Cross. Trust me, folks, they're going to be better for it when it's all said and done. Now, let's move on to District 7 2A, where Houma Christian plays. Catholic of New Iberia, again, the Division III Select reigning state champs. They are 2-0 on the year. Watch out for Delcom. Delcom is beating people, and they're beating people pretty bad. West St. Mary's got a lot of athletes on that team. They're 2-0. Lauraville had a big win this week against Ascension Catholic out of Donaldsonville, so they're back in the win column. And unfortunately, Franklin 0-2, but Franklin has been playing some pretty good teams along the way. So we'll see how that district sort of fares out. And finally, our last district we take a look at is District 7-1A. In District 7-1A, we sort of all thought Covenant Christian would be that team, and they very well may be when it's all said and done. But Jeanneret evidently is very athletic, and they have two pretty good wins under their belt this early in the season. Of course, we mentioned Central Catholic lost a really tough one to Catholic of New Iberia, who is very good. Hanson Memorial and Centerville struggling just a little bit. They're both 0-2. As a matter of fact, Hanson this week has to take on South Terrebonne. So after 2 weeks, that's where we all stand. A little early to look at PowerPoint rankings per se, but they start to add up pretty soon, and we'll get into that when we think that it makes a big enough difference. Got to take a break. We'll be back with more Bayou Time Sports after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.